I had the honor to be invited to speak and do live comedy at a James Topp event in Montreal at the first Royal Canadian Legion branch that was going to allow him to speak there. But it got canceled. How are we supposed to truly create unity in this country if we can't even create unity amongst Canadian veterans? The good news is I still will get the honor to speak with James Topp at the event on Friday here in Toronto. This is one of the final meet and greets for James Topp on his journey. I'm going to get to do live comedy there, and it's an absolute honor, and I can't wait. Limited tickets are available. More information, link in the description. Now back to the Royal Canadian Legion. This is not the first time this has happened to James Topp. He has been banned, or his events have been canceled throughout his journey. I believe in Newfoundland last time it happened. And I think this meme best puts it in perspective. And the quotation from this meme comes directly from the legion.ca website. The Royal Canadian Legion is one of the most vocal supporters of Canada's military community. For nearly a century, we have provided essential services to veterans when they need it most, advocated for veterans' needs, and helped Canadians honor the sacrifices of those who serve. Hey, I'm a veteran. Can you help me?
Not you!
James explains in this video that this Legion branch was under tremendous pressure from the national headquarters of the Royal Canadian Legion.
Because of the pressure that he's facing, he's actually been threatened with closure and or loss of affiliation. This is how bad this situation here is in this country. The Royal Canadian Legion, as opposed to reaching out to me directly to have a conversation about why I'm doing this, has chosen to listen to innuendo, rumor, and outright lies, and adopt this wall of silence and block me and the team, actually, from speaking to the public about what we're doing.
Now, doesn't that sound familiar? Someone refusing to talk to you, refusing to engage with you with any conversation whatsoever. And after all, once you engage with a protest that has a reasonable request to end the mandates and restrictions, well, it's pretty hard to disagree with that, especially considering the government has followed suit with the Trucker Convoy, for example. And similarly with James Topp, once you actually listen to what he has to say and what his simple request is, well, it's really hard for any politician to disagree with him. He wants to end mandates in the military, as he explains here.
To make it clear to everybody, is we are lobbying. That's right, we are carrying to the federal government and our representatives the case of employees of the armed forces who have been wrongfully released from service under a release item code called 5F because they are unsuitable. They have been told they have been unsuitable because they will not participate in the vaccination policy put in place there. And they have reasonable grounds to do so. I am one of those people.
James is one of those people, and to represent all the others who are being discriminated against in this country with existing mandates that exist in various places, he has marched across the entire country. He is representing and trying to draw attention to the many other Canadians who are out of a job or nurses who can't go back to work because of these unjustified mandates. This is a very worthy cause that pretty well most of the country seems to be on board with, but it's just not permeating the mainstream because I guess that's not part of the conversation, right? Being forced to take an injection or lose your job is not a choice. And now, many of these restrictions and mandates have dropped, so we know that these mandates weren't justified to begin with. But I was checking out the Royal Canadian Legion's Twitter, and I just wanted to see how many times they've tweeted about freedom. I wear my poppy as a visual pledge to never forget those who sacrificed for our freedom. We wear a poppy to remember all veterans who have served and sacrificed for our freedom. Show your support and get your poppy to honor the courage of those who sacrificed everything for our freedom. But when it comes to James Topp marching across the entire country, sacrificing his time and energy and body to protest these unjustified mandates, he gets the silent treatment from an organization that is supposed to represent veterans and the Canadian military more than anyone. Where's the unity there? Where's the understanding there? Where's the compassion there? And it's the same thing as the Trucker Convoy. If you would just have a conversation, this wouldn't have to be so painful and awkward and just unreasonable. And of course, like the Trucker Convoy, when they refuse this hard to have a conversation about this, it leads people to think that there's something else going on. And speaking of the Trucker Convoy, the Royal Canadian Legion tweeted this: veterans saddened by use of Canadian flag by convoy protesters. The iconic Canadian flag symbolizes hope, pride, and peace, and represents our country's unity and strength. Its use as a symbol of protest is not its intended spirit. I'm sorry, do you speak for all veterans, Royal Canadian Legion? Because I interviewed plenty of veterans down at the Trucker Convoy, and I can assure you they would not agree with this sentiment whatsoever. And I think the harsh reality to the situation is this: in order to unite the country and to unite Canadian veterans, well, we need to decide upon shared values. And over the past 2 years, what it means to be a free Canadian, those values have been completely distorted, because it's not about being a free Canadian anymore. There's this huge sentiment about being a safe Canadian. And for me personally, I choose the side where Canadians and Canadian veterans value freedom more. Why? Because, I don't know, I've seen people pepper sprayed in the name of safety, beaten, arrested in the name of safety, businesses shut down and business owners persecuted by the government in the name of safety, because freedom becomes an afterthought in the name of safety. It's crazy what you can justify in the name of safety. And while we're talking about the Legion, I wanted to bring up how they treated the Don Cherry situation. Mr. Cherry's personal opinion was hurtful, divisive, and in no way condoned by the Legion. We do remain appreciative of his passionate support for veterans. This sounds a lot like doublespeak, doesn't it? I mean, we don't really agree with his opinion. It was divisive, but thanks for your support as well, man. Don Cherry was your best spokesperson, and then you just threw him under the bus, Royal Canadian Legion. And they probably made this tweet about Don Cherry for the same reason they shut down the James Topp event. Someone at headquarters put pressure and said, no, we can't condone this. We need to say, where's the bravery? Where's the conviction? Where is the courage? Where is the values of freedom in being a Canadian? And this Don Cherry example is important because essentially the way it was dealt with, it said, hey, people who aren't wearing the poppy, potentially offending those people, we need to make that a priority over honoring our veterans during Remembrance Day. Are you kidding me? It says all over their website, these people made the greatest sacrifice. Oh, but we don't want to hurt someone's feelings and pressure them into wearing a poppy. Why not? We are forgetting. Lest we forget, we are forgetting. At least the Canadian establishment is certainly coaching its citizens to forget. But hey, I'm not a veteran, so let's hear what James Topp has to say on the issue.
So what I have to say to the Royal Canadian Legion is there was 28 years where I served in the regular armed forces, where I went to a Legion branch every Remembrance Day and stood outside at attention, rain or shine, and I honored the memory of our veterans. And you are not going to even do that for our recent veterans who have been 5F'd. So Royal Canadian Legion, if you have anybody working in your establishment who has any honor or courage, then reach out to me at canadamarches@protonmail.ca and let's have a conversation.
Just asking for a conversation, guys. That's exactly what people were asking for at the Trucker Convoy. But if you're a Canadian veteran or a Legion member watching this, you need to unite on the right side of this issue. Do you want to unite on the side that's all about being safe and all about listening to whatever headquarters has to say? Or are you going to be on the side that is about freedom? The side that is about honoring veterans? The side is about debate and conversation, which is fundamental to a free society. We need to unite on the right side. Because guess what? The people on the freedom side are not saying we don't care about safety. Okay? And I would argue that simply the people who are stuck on the safety side are believing in the propaganda that is designed to divide us on a very straightforward issue. If you're in Toronto, come out this Friday for the final meet and greet with James Topp. You'll see me perform live comedy. You'll get to shake hands with the man himself. It should be a lot of fun. It's at Louis Cypher on the Danforth. Tickets are very limited right now for Friday, but if people buy enough tickets, then there's going to be a meet and greet as well on Saturday at the same location. And thank you to James Topp and his team. I'm very honored to be able to speak at his event on Friday. I'm going to leave you with a clip from the Trucker Convoy from a veteran named Alex who has some choice words.
And division is key for any dictatorship, authoritarian style government, to divide everybody and keep everybody from joining together. So terrorist, racist, misogynist, whatever you want to say, those are words that they slam at you to stop any conversation and to get public opinion to pull away from that person. And that's actually disgusting. Without freedom of speech and without freedom of speech, there is no democracy, there is no debate.
But when it comes to James Topp marching across the entire country to protest mandates, unjustified mandates, he gets the cold soldier.